Chapter 6, Draconis. Haiku perhaps complete calculation to equation, binds and saps, mathematical persuasion within poetry and raps, truth, no evasion, mathematical rhyme traps, rationality, abrasion. Two lists of words with the word of between them filled my HUD. It followed my eyes and stopped each time I blinked. I read each list and brought up names for consideration. Hammer of Dawn, Sword of Mercy, Star of the Stars, Bringer of People, King of Democracy, Judge of Judgment, Distributor of Steel, Pledge of Allegiance, Defender of Audacity, Princess of Twilight. Admittedly, some were uncontrollably thought up, out of sheer amusement, despite the terrible timing. I'll claim the lame excuse of coping mechanism. However, the final decision came down to two choices: Emperor of Eternity or Lady of Liberty. I mused how this choice would dark mirror my intent, to do this all with my own strength, or seek a higher power for help, to rule Super Earth or restore it. Even in the dark ages of Earth, horrors were done in divine names no longer remembered. Those horrors will continue in words not yet written, by gods not yet born. But that day is not today. The goddess, Our Lady of Liberty, has not been corrupted. She has simply been chained and masked by the lies of Super Earth. Liberty herself begs for freedom. So I will cast this super destroyer in the name of Our Lady of Liberty. May she cast me in her name and find me not guilty of what I do in her name. I stumble out, body crackling with the destruction of thin ice across and within my body. Perhaps only a small margin of heat flux and component temperature gradient changed abruptly as I took the first two steps. Yet I felt every cell in my body complain about it. A numb phantom limb pain erupting into the agony of freezer burn. The thermal shock, not my only shock to experience. They left him to die. I long ago learned you can make all the right moves in a chess game and still lose, because you become trapped by your own possibilities. He wasn't alone. How many were left behind? I look up to see a bald woman wearing a shipmaster medal on her Federation uniform, a very small embroidering, Wong, patched on the suit.
Congratulations on completing training, Helldiver. You're in charge of this vessel now. The Democracy officer awaits you on the bridge. Welcome to the Galactic War.
She turns to walk away from me. My anger flares as I repeat the question and growl the words out of my mouth threateningly. How many were abandoned? She stops, not looking back, and says to me that the super colony started imploding into a black hole. We barely made it. She paused.
An entire planet compressed into an infinitesimally small point? Well, that's what happens when you resist the will of managed democracy.
She goes on about how every Helldiver lost is an unspeakable tragedy. But this mission had fewer unspeakable tragedies than average. My pain and rage silences her excuses out of my ears. She turns to face me again, saying that my comrades who didn't return will rest easy knowing that fact. She tells me that many sacrifices were made today, and we will never forget. The cold calculation was more than math. It was undeniable fact. This mission was a victory, no matter the cost. A constant in the equation of variable warfare. We're in this war for the species. It's simple numbers. They have more. Each Helldiver abandoned had just been worth untold trillions of enemies. And even with this victory, I now stand as a Helldiver, still against untold trillions, in a war requiring the cruelest and most bloody government decisions imaginable. I shake my head and try to walk past Shipmaster Wong, but she puts up a hand to stop me. Silently, she hands me a postal box that was hidden by her datapad, a thick rectangle the size of my forearm. I nod, take it, and walk to the bridge, where Democracy Officer Amade stands alone. His heavy super citizen Helldiver armor, scars, and eye patch tell a tale I'll never know. He opens his mouth to speak to me, but I walk past him, the stairs, and the hell pods with a purpose that has no intent to listen. There I stand before a 3-meter tall window between me and breathless vacuum. Downward I leer with loathing at the corruption living on the crust of my so-called homeworld. Pure perfection personified, says the propaganda. I needed to see the face of my true enemy, to see the peace purchased with blood and oil. I realized my hate for Super Earth isn't something that was created after nanites were injected. It was before the beginning of this journal. I whisper to myself, when you are resolved from the beginning, you will not be perplexed, though you will still receive the same soaking. After my determination has been reforged to a branding burn, I walk down the stairs back to the Democracy Officer.
The crew was forced to initiate an emergency warp without your authorization in order to protect Super Earth's investment in this vessel.
He indicates a holographic table displaying the known galaxy. Democracy Officer Amadi teaches me how I may assess the state of the war, showing that the conflict is across many sectors and that I must choose where to lend my aid. I activate my control on the display.
An incoming message from Super Earth. Gravitational anomaly detected.
The map replaces Meridia's life-colored marble into a sphere of starless space.
Gravitational collapse confirmed. Operation Enduring Peace successful. The super colony has been destroyed. In its place, a beautiful black hole remains, drawing in every terminate spore within several billion kilometers. Interstellar spore levels have already sharply decreased in every system. The destruction of Meridia came not a moment too soon. While the terminids continue their rampant spread across the galaxy, without the accelerating effect of the super colony, containment is now once again possible. The Moradash research facility has been decommissioned following the total exhaustion of all dark fluid stores. The Tyla scientists who contributed to the Moradash project have been awarded the Super Citizenship Medal of Freedom. The front against the Terminids has stabilized, but the war is far from over. We must continue the fight to contain the Terminids and redirect our efforts to finally reclaim the territory stolen by the automatons. Congratulations is in order. The Helldivers won a historic victory for managed democracy today.
I select the history option on the map for Meridia.
Once a life-abundant wet planet covered in deep oceans, thick forests, and tall grasses. It pioneered the termicide dispensing Terminid control system. Unfortunately, due to entirely unforeseeable mutations from the termicide exposure, hyper-accelerated bug growth became uncontrollable on this planet, turning it into a super colony. Corrupted beyond saving, the bugs infested every inch of it down to the mantle and spawned trillions of spores every day. This dark abyss is all that remains of the verdant paradise that was once Meridia. Its breathtaking forests and abundant resources were corrupted and destroyed by the Terminids, leaving no choice but to use dark fluid to destroy it completely. Now, this singularity remains as a memorial, reminding us all of the consequences of defying freedom.
I blink read all the Super Earth dispatch messages regarding the Major Order and Meridia. A sickening pat on the back at best. This Helldiver has to see what fresh hell is now laying between the stars. Disgust guides my fingers' selection as the PA system announces my decision to the rest of the ship.
Initiating FTL jump to the Meridian system.
The sound of raboom is followed by rattle throng. This tells me the law of the universal constant has been disregarded for the desire of destination.
Jump complete.
My impatience wastes no time in ascending the steps again. I don't even make it to the steps before I hear space screaming in warped torture, and the ship's metal being tested against gravity's grasp. My only hope in this horror is miscalculation. The error that the E710 made Meridia a wormhole. That we paid the price of a planet for a something instead of it all being for naught. I look and find before my eyes despair manifest into dimensional death. Nothing never was, is, or will be Meridia. The current zeitgeist and an eternal monument to all of Super Earth's sins. Wreathed upon the emptiness is crowned a purple halo event horizon. A threshold to perhaps true oblivion beyond our material realm. From this side, it is a destroyed part of reality, only because reality defines its boundaries. Within this Schwarzschild radius lies a singularity that is not space or time. The quantum foam fabric of the universe negated. The collapse of the wave function nullified. The universe's undeath, where you can't very well have less than nothing. Ultimately, moral and ethical monstrosity made real as cosmic sanity begins to peel. In shadows deep, still alive, frozen till darkest hour, to wars of wrath they dive, commanding heavenly power. Beyond time's eternal tether, hellfire made flesh, drop to conquer for together, each equal to Gilgamesh. With dark fluid of cosmos torn, gravity's whisper endless void, where collapsed stars are unborn, oblivion's sister, reality destroyed. Folding space with horror's grace, Super Earth's act is godless, a wounded erase of time and place, tears birth from liberty, our goddess equals. Shadows deep, they wake, heaven's wrath in voids they make, time and space they break. End log, June, Wednesday the 2nd, 2184, 2 of 3.